collaboration and cooperation is absolutely at the heart of the space sector. So where we see this really visibly is often on scientific collaborations. Take the International Space Station, for instance. It's the single biggest piece of scientific infrastructure, and those is a truly collaborative project. But increasingly also it's important to note that we need to collaborate for the space operating environment. So space is a global commons, and while we're seeing increased activity in space, some fantastic innovation in satellites in particular, that collaboration is essential to make sure that we can safeguard the operating environment. Gosh, one piece of advice, keep your horizons broad. We still, even though space utterly underpins so much of our society, it's still associated with, rocketry and astronauts. It's vast. The opportunities to work in the space sector are absolutely vast. In the UK, we look at this every couple of years. We predict that about 90% of the sector is actually in the downstream, not in the upstream. So it just gives you a sense of the reach of space. So don't be too driven by the traditional, because space is reaching more and more parts of our lives. Courage, collaboration, innovation and money, and not necessarily in that order. I think you can hear in these conferences it's a pretty much shared global objective. We've got different ideas about how we're going to get there and different ideas about the steps you need to take along the way, but it will have to be a global collaborative effort, and there I hope that the international collaboration will be the key to success. A number of years ago, I used to sit on a board called the Disaster Charter, and this was formed way back in 1999 in recognition of the fact that actually if there was an emergency on Earth, say a huge flood or a forest fire, it was really important to get imagery there and then. And whilst lots of different space agencies and governments have Earth observation satellites, it's quite unusual that you would have your satellite in the right place at the right time. So the charter was created, which was a data sharing agreement amongst agencies. It was really, really groundbreaking at the time. It still is. Now that data is open to every agency, so you don't have to own a satellite. You don't have to contribute into the partnership to get benefit from the data. And that has brought, tremendous benefits over the years. It's a really, really nice example. There's going to be some amazing things. There's going to be some amazing high-profile things. We're going to see amazing commercialization of the sector, and that could mean more exploration. It could be missions to Moon again. It could be part of that journey to Mars. But in terms of the biggest shift, I think that will still be in applications. And it's unimaginable only relatively few years ago to think that we'd be so dependent on satellite data for weather forecasting, so dependent on satellite data for navigation, so dependent for telecommunications. That wasn't so long ago. And we're in a world that is, the population is growing, the environment's increasingly stressed, the population is increasingly data hungry, and I think space applications are just going to play a bigger and bigger role in that.